Welcome back to another episode of the Untold. I'm your host, Lujain AlAtheri, and I'm joined by.
And I'm Abdullah AlHendyani, and for today's episode, we have a very special guest because, as you've known by now, constantly, I'm a foodie. I'm a big foodie. I love everything related to food. I love food, and today we have food reviewer Muhammed AlAjmi.
I know, I had a feeling you would be excited about this one. If you guys have been watching, Abdullah loves food. He's always talking about food, and he's someone who knows food. So I think that this food reviewing journey of ours is going to take us to new places. We might learn about how the food reviewing in Kuwait actually works.
It is, yeah. I'm a great, into everything about food. I think my social media accounts is all about flying and food. It's like one of the most boring social media accounts you can find. But I have so much passion for food, and I'm always curious to talk with food reviewers because they are in a very unique position. For me, at least, it's like the dream job, right? You are literally eating what to me feels like a dream. So I'm always curious to see how they got their footing, how they started, how they choose the wordings, how they choose their food. It's such an intriguing aspect for me.
I agree, especially because that's how most of us find where to eat these days, anyways, on social media. They're the ones who are one step ahead of the game. And I can't wait to dive in and talk to our guest about how his journey began, where it took him, and how he is able to find all these amazing places to review.
Yeah, and with that being said, we are going to take a break, so come back and we'll be joined by him. And we're back on a culinary edition of The Untold. So first, welcome Hamid AlAjmi for joining us as today's guest.
Thank you for having me.
It's wonderful to have you. So let's just get started. You obviously have a love for food, but what made you decide to start reviewing food publicly and not just keep as a private thing?
I didn't start out doing food videos. I was just doing general things to do in Kuwait. I love my country, so I try to spread, things, activities. And I found there was a big gap in social media relating to content in Kuwait that's in English, because a lot of our population is not Arab speakers. Like, we have a lot of people who do not speak Arabic. So I thought it would be like good to show some places, in English.
And so how did you, I know because you said you first started as a content creator and then you kind of segued into food creation, but let's go back to that decision to be a content creator. Like, how did you decide, oh, I want to spread the word. I want to talk about this and that.
Well, as since I was like a kid, I always wanted to do something within media. I didn't really have a specific kind of area that I wanted to do. And during one of my university semesters, I finished a semester and I had a big break. And all my friends left me. They went to a different country, studying abroad, all this. And I was alone, so I thought, hey, why not give it a shot? Basically, the way I found my way into that is one viewer just said, "Hey, have you tried this restaurant?" And I was like, "No, I have not actually." And I tried the restaurant, and since then I just started doing more food videos.
I mean, that's great. Food is a really big market in Kuwait as well. We have so many restaurants to try, a lot of places
Yeah.
to eat. And we all love food here. Right, Abdullah? We're all big foodies, I think, in Kuwait. We have amazing food. And I love your idea of trying to take it to somewhere where a lot of people may not have access to knowing about new places, especially because these days you don't really find stuff anymore except on social media, I feel. All the new restaurants, all the places people may not know where to try. So when you started realizing that food was where you wanted to go, and how did you find the response to that?
At first, I was basically just eating from, like, just ordering in at home, and saying, "Hey, look at this. I ordered this. Watch me eat it." And basically that. But then one day I decided to try a restaurant that my friend had kept recommending me, and it wasn't very well known. And I made a whole video of me going there, showing the area, showing, the different types of foods, the prices, everything about the restaurant in person. And that was the first time I actually had like decent exposure on a video, and that's where I realized this is what I want to do.
And
Pretty cool.
it is. And speaking of what you want to do, I know that when you have a lot of passion, you're going to dedicate a lot of time for it. But with that time comes a lot of, testing of your consistency, of your, pressure, of your resilience. So in those first early days, when trying to find an audience as a content creator, did you find it difficult to, try to get what they want, or did you find it difficult to see what you want, or how to combine the two, how to cast the algorithm? Talk us through the decision behind those days.
So when I first started, there was no vision at all, just how that's how it goes. I was just basically throwing things at a wall until something stuck, you know what I mean? But what I found was an audience will come eventually if you are doing what you want to do, I don't view this as like a job at all. It's more of just like a passion thing, a hobby, it's mainly for fun. And when people see you're like authentic about it, you're not taking it too seriously, they understand that and they probably resonate with that more because of authenticity.
That makes sense. And I think especially nowadays where so much stuff is curated, people really love authenticity. They love seeing someone be themselves and just do the things that they want to do as well. I actually love taking photos of food myself. And when I was younger, I thought about food blogging, but I lack the consistency to post all the time, I guess you could say. So was that like a struggle for you to maintain the consistency of posting all the time to get the audience?
It was a big struggle actually. I hate to say this, but I'm a very lazy person.
Me too, don't worry.
I procrastinate all the time. But I did take a big hiatus at some point to focus mainly on my university and my studies. But it's been lightening up right now, so I took that as an opportunity to get back into it, and it's still as fresh as it was when I first started. I still enjoy it as much.
Well,
It's just really fun.
it's great that you enjoy it. I think that makes a big difference in these kind of things.
Yeah, and honestly, I think food, for me at least, is something you never get bored of. So you found something, for me,
Always something new.
yeah, you,
True.
you found something you can enjoy for the rest of your life. There's always going to be delicious food. Like for me personally, a good shawarma tastes good now, tastes good tomorrow, it's going to
Yeah.
taste good a week after later. So kudos to you for finding that.
Thank
And
you.
speaking of which, how do you find the places to review? How do you find the food to review? Because I know there's a lot of pressure for you to find the thing that not a lot of people are talking about, that food that not a lot of people discuss. So how do you come to that decision?
When I first started, and I basically didn't really have an audience, I would ask just friends, what's your favorite restaurant that nobody knows about, or what's something that's just local in your place? What's your favorite restaurant since you were a kid that's still there? That type of stuff. But after a while, where I started getting an audience, I could post a story and just say, "Give me a restaurant to try that's not very well known," and basically that. I usually get my ideas from other people, like where to go, but sometimes even I'll be on Instagram or any social media, and I just get a random video of a restaurant just starting up, and I follow them just to see if I should go there or not.
Yeah, I think a lot of stuff does spread through word of mouth as well, at least in the
Yeah.
very beginning, until people like you find them and then post about them and they become spread out more online, people can try them. So do you usually go for places that people have never tried, or do you sometimes review places that are also well known already?
I try to stay away from well-known places, but I'll give them a shot sometimes if there's something I want to try. Like, for example, there is a very well-known restaurant I made a video on, but the only reason I went is because they had a specific menu item that interested me. That's the only reason I would go somewhere established already.
That's fair enough.
It is. And speaking of specific menu items, when you do decide a food or meal to tackle on, like what's your criteria for making a review on it? Like, is it the taste of it, the texture of it, the ingredients? Like, how do you come to say, oh wow, this meal was truly great?
For judging at a restaurant, I take more than just the food into account. If I'm eating food and the chair's uncomfortable, that bothers me too. I take the whole thing into account when I judge something. Uh, but the main part is for me price to taste to like atmosphere. That's the three main points for me.
And what makes you decide a place is maybe one of the best places that you've tried?
Definitely taste first. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it
food,
makes
but
sense.
as I said earlier, just the ratio of price, taste, and atmosphere all together, that's just my final verdict, that's where it comes from usually.
And honestly, it seems like, mashallah, you've had a great experience so far, because you mentioned only a couple of meals you've had that weren't living up to, I would say taste. And I know that for a lot of food reviewers, there's this dilemma, right? Where if you're reviewing a food and it's something you don't like, there's a risk that if you do talk about it, you're gonna burn a lot of bridges, especially in the field that you're gonna come back, more and more and more. So how do you deal with the pressure to, always be authentic in your reviews?
When I first started doing food videos, I got invited to a restaurant for like a free meal, to make a video on it. And the first thing I told them, I said, if I'm doing this, I would like to give it my honest review. It doesn't matter like if it's good or bad, I would like to just say exactly my thoughts. And that's what I've been using if I am invited. That rarely happens, but if that happens, uh, I do tell them that, and usually, actually not usually, every single time, they're like, go for it. Because as I said, people will not go to your restaurant if it's bad, so they know they have like good food. So I don't really feel a pressure to censor myself or say something positive if I don't feel it. I usually just go with my gut feeling on the topic and works out.
I think that's really great because I think personally I would feel a bit bad if I had something bad to say because sometimes you just want to be nice to the people. Like
Yeah.
when the waiter comes, like, how was your food? If you didn't like something, you're like, well, you tend to be like, no, everything's fine, everything is good. So it's really hard, I think, to have that voice that can say, well, actually, this item didn't live up to what you guys said. This standard wasn't quite as well. And I think my more foodie friends aren't afraid of that. Like I went to a restaurant recently with some friends. It was a very nice restaurant and we ate, but we started talking about how like one of the starters or some of them, they weren't seasoned properly. And I think someone heard us and came and asked. And at first we wanted to be like, oh, no, it was all good. But then we're like, no, okay. To be honest, this one was not, it needed more salt. This one was that. And I think you're right. They do appreciate that as well because that's how they kind of grow as well and ensure that their customers are all going to be satisfied. So would you say that like your own standards have changed since becoming a food reviewer?
No.
No?
I've always liked food and yeah, but going back to what you said about like a waiter or waitress, with them I can't give them like my genuine thought. I feel bad.
Yeah.
I feel bad because they're in person right there,
That's the thing.
Like I went to a restaurant recently and I didn't really enjoy it, and the waitress came up to me and she's like, how's everything? I hope we're gonna see you soon, and I'm just sure. Yeah,
It was great.
I live kind of far away, so
I think we are going to take a break after this one, but I think I'm going to take this moment to say, every waitress, if you see us in the middle of eating, please don't ask us if the
Yes,
food
it's
is
always
good.
when food's
Yeah.
in your mouth for
Yes.
some reason.
or
They pick the most awkward times.
or they just walk by with the exact thing you ordered,
But
and
it's
then
not
just
for you.
Yep, exactly.
I hate that, especially when you're hungry and it
Yeah.
just goes out like, oh, that was mine. I'll see you later.
Yeah, see you later. And speaking of seeing you later, we are going to take a break and we'll see you later, dear audience.
And we're back from that short break. So we were just talking about the restaurant experience and how sometimes it's a bit hard to tell the waiter if your food isn't as good, but in general, you do try to be as honest and authentic in your reviews as possible. Do you ever feel that honesty can cost you with food or restaurant places though?
Well, I would never know, because
True.
if that bridge was burned, I wouldn't have known, because they're not like, hey, we're done with you.
Disclaimer, don't ever come back.
Yeah, basically.
But honestly, alhamdulillah, in Kuwait, we have an amazing food industry because I've eaten probably in almost all continents except Oceania. Sorry, Australia and New Zealand, you are way too far away. And I can honestly say, alhamdulillah, Kuwait has an amazing, food industry from the restaurant. And I think I've never had a bad experience with food or bad taste when I'm dining in.
Yeah.
It's usually when you're ordering, and that's because factors outside the restaurant, right? Delivery times, the packaging. So it's not a good metric of taste. But whenever I'm dining in, the food is always exceptional. I do want to ask you about something because we've seen a lot of social media viral trends when it comes to food. Sometimes they have a new type of bread, sometimes they have a new type of chocolate with ice cream. Do you feel the pressures of trying to keep on with this wave, or you're always in that mindset, I gotta be ahead of it, I gotta find out what's next?
So with trends and social media, there is a pressure to stay on top of that because it's a way to grow your audience and grow your exposure and all of that. But typically for my videos, if it's food related, uh, I usually just try to have a meal. That's it. I'm not really looking for the Dubai chocolate type thing, you know?
Yeah,
Uh,
which is
'Cause-
awful.
is it? I've
It
actually
is.
It's
never
not
had
that
it.
bad. Like
It
I wouldn't
is.
say it's like worth the hype, but it's not bad either. It's just chocolate, you know, it's just a type of
Yeah.
chocolate.
No, but like pistachio has no right to be involved with chocolate.
I
That's my
disagree.
controversial
I
opinion
disagree.
for the
Like
night.
nuts and chocolate go great together, and
I mean, I
all
can't.
all nuts, all
I
chocolate.
slightly disagree. I don't fully disagree, but I
I
understand.
can happily be in the minority on this one, but I'll take it to the grave. That chocolate tastes awful.
I mean, I tried one that wasn't that bad, but it's not worth like the hype. Some things I think becomes overly trendy, and people are just doing it solely because it's a trend.
Oh yeah.
Like I think that happens a lot with food, especially in Kuwait.
Uh, the Dubai chocolate thing definitely went out of hand, you know.
For sure. And I do feel like in Kuwait as well, sometimes we go a bit too far because you'll have restaurants that have no business serving some of the trendy foods. Like your menu is based like on this country or region, yet you have all
Yeah.
of these items as well for some reason. So I think that's a special bubble we're in because we just have such a food audience here in general. So do you struggle to also maintain like with your audience a kind of repertoire or a relationship just so that you have your own voice with them?
So you mean like a connection with them?
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, I do enjoy talking and like interacting with my viewer base. Believe it or not, I actually made a video with one of my viewers.
Oh, no way.
He messaged me and he said, "Yeah, I'm Kuwaiti. My uncle really loves this Thai place. We should check it out, you know." So I said, "Why not?" And me and him both went on a journey to that restaurant, recorded it, ate together, and it was a fun time. I really enjoy interacting with my viewer base. It's fun, you know. Like I enjoy it.
It's always
Connection.
Yeah, it's always great to see social media personalities, interacting with audiences because it creates a two-way kind of relationship, right? It creates this kind of friendship that's really a stigma of the modern age. I do want to ask you about something is that, you are in a very unique position where if you say this meal and this restaurant is good, that's going to bring clients, that's going to bring, money to the establishment, that's going to bring happiness to the people who ate that. Do you feel those responsibilities in your, reviews?
I don't really feel responsible or like I don't want to take credit. I just want to spread, a
Yeah.
good time, for anyone, basically.
Do you feel pressure being a public figure?
If you mean like negative comments and things like that, that was a thing at the start,
Mm.
but after a while it just kind of faded out and f- since I was a kid, I played very competitive games, and those comments are much worse than anything you can experience on social media. So I have thick skin. It's okay.
I think I can happily, advocate for that because I always say if you haven't been through the Counter-Strike,
Okay.
Exactly.
yeah, if you haven't been through
Exactly.
the Counter-Strike, aggressiveness, you haven't seen life in its offering.
Modern Warfare lobbies, it's-
Yeah. I want to ask you about something is that for a lot of food reviewers, it's maybe a tough question to ask, but if we ask you on the Untold a meal that you would say was up there, it's your favorite one you've tasted, is something you can go back again and again and again. Is that something you can instantly recall, or is it
I
something?
can tell you the exact restaurant and item if you want.
So the exact restaurant is going to be off camera, but you can tell us the exact meal. Like what
Okay.
was it?
It depends. Sometimes it's actually first I'm gonna preface this by saying it used to be a double smash burger,
Mm.
but I would click no sauce. So it's just bread, patty, cheese, bread.
Yeah.
And I kept bothering them on Instagram, the restaurants, because there was no option to add a third patty.
Okay.
And after months of me just pestering them, hey, add a third add a third patty, add a third patty, add a third patty, the option appeared.
There you
So
go.
you actually were one of those people who made the restaurant listen
Yeah,
almost.
no, I just bothered them into submission, you know?
Yeah,
Sometimes it does work though. Being annoying sometimes will get you further than being nice, unfortunately.
it does. You know, this reminds me of a very funny mathematical equation where somebody found a loophole in a very famous restaurant. So if you order the same meal and then you take one item out of it each time you order it, by a certain amount of day, you're gonna have a complete meal. So
Yeah.
you'd have one free meal per days of usage. And I think, my point was that a lot of restaurants can have these fun interactions with, the customers. And would you say that smash burger is your favorite meal, or is there something else?
If I'm being completely honest, there was a month where I ordered that burger probably 15 times.
Mashallah.
It's a health restaurant and it's a lot of protein. So, I go to the gym, have the burger. It's just
I feel like that's normally the opposite case. Usually it's the non-health restaurants that have the really good burgers. So we are going to have to get this name on screen.
what's crazy is this restaurant, this burger specifically, I'd put it in my top 5 of all burgers in Kuwait.
Wow.
And it's a health restaurant. It's a healthy restaurant, which is actually insane to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, normally a lot of the burgers I feel like in health restaurants, they're just a bit bland compared to when you buy burgers from other places. But maybe it's changed now. I don't know.
No, it hasn't. It's
Okay, just this one place.
it's
Just this one place.
And honestly, this is a very common misconception about burgers. Like, even if you go to the unhealthiest place, if you take a burger and you remove the cheese and the sauce, it's still one of the healthiest options you can take.
It's the sauce.
Yeah, because burgers just minced beef, right? And the buns are just, it's just buns, it's bread.
Yep.
It's the sauce, the cheese, the mayonnaise, whatever goes in, probably the oil they use. But for burger, they just, grill it on an iron griddle. So it's a safe option, even from the unsafest of places. I think, why did I go on a rant on burger?
We brought out the foodie in Abdullah, that's
Yeah.
why.
Hungry.
Yeah, I always get the sword and shield out whenever food is involved. Yeah. So after that month where you've ate a burger, what would you say other food items that are up there on your, favorite list?
I really enjoy rice dishes. Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be majboos. It can be like any rice dish from around the world, even like a burrito bowl or, like some paprika. It doesn't matter. If it has rice, I'm on board, basically.
I agree. I think rice is one of like the MVPs of food in general. Like you can't go wrong with rice and some kind of meat and like some sauce. Always good. And like that's the healthier sauce as well, usually, like daqus or something or whatever they put with it. Always such a great option.
It is, yeah.
I do want to say one thing I will not eat for personal enjoyment is this might get me a lot of, seafood in general.
Seafood. I
It's
mean,
just-
I'm there with you. I can
Thank you.
can stomach seafood.
Thank you. It's just every time I tell someone fish, I can't. It's too fishy,
I know what you mean by the too fishy because I actually like fish unless it has that fishy taste, if that makes sense.
White fish is okay. Crustaceans, I love crabs and lobster, but also except shrimp. Shrimp texture just
Shrimp is-
throws me
yeah,
off.
yeah.
It's just
Shrimp only if it's like I can't like people want to order seafood. I have to eat seafood fresh or not at all. I don't want it delivered in any sense because I feel like if it's not fresh, it's not gonna be good or correct. I don't know.
But honestly, for me, the reason why I stay away from fish is not because of the taste, because a lot of fish can taste good, sea bass and salmon, everything. It's psychological reasons for me, because when I was a child, twice I got, stuck with the
Oh,
with the bones. And then as I grew up, I was like, if there's a 50% chance you're gonna die eating something, I'd rather let that stay in the ocean, have your fun time.
Yeah.
So that's why I stay away from fish.
my sibling one time choked on a piece of popcorn and
Oh
didn't
my
eat
God.
popcorn for like 10 years. So
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I feel like popcorn makes sense because it always gets stuck in your teeth sometimes, that like kernel or something. But yeah, I guess food is just an interesting one that way. Like everyone is different. I know someone who will only eat seafood, but she won't eat like chicken or meat or anything at all.
Yeah.
So that's all she'll eat.
I mean, I'll still eat it. Like, don't get me wrong. I will still eat it, and it does taste good sometimes. But like, I usually won't go out of my way for it. Like,
I'm the same. I think I like fried seafood more. Like if I'm having like fried shrimps or fish and chips, or if I'm
Fish
going
and
to an
chips,
Asian
yeah.
place, Sometimes it does a lot
With
better.
soy sauce,
Yeah,
I'm on board.
you know, like some sushi is a bit different, but I'm with you guys on the fishy taste. In general, I always try to avoid a lot of seafood, even though it's really good for us, apparently. Like it's one of the
Yeah,
best things we could
just
eat.
take
Yeah.
omega-6 and you'll. You know,
Yeah.
I actually, when I first started my diet a few years ago, I was actually kind of a big guy. I tried to do, salmon for lunch every day, and I cooked salmon for myself. And on the fifth day, I just could not, I could not
It's
even smell
it's like
it.
salmon. Salam alaikum. Goodbye. Yeah.
Oh,
I
naturally
want to ask you
works.
about something because as a food reviewer, if you're reviewing something, a food that you really like. So let's say if you're reviewing, burgers, and if you're reviewing seafood, do you take a lot of your personal preference into the equation, or you try to stay as neutral to the taste as you can?
Well, basically, as I did say that I wouldn't go out of my way personally, but I could still enjoy it, you know?
Yeah.
My rating comes, or my review of a food or anything comes down straight to whether I personally enjoyed that. I can't eat like fish and hate fish and then say, "Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
You should try it." I can't do that. So if I enjoy something, I will let everyone know I enjoyed it. And if I didn't, not.
Honestly, that's really good to hear. And I love that you're being honest and authentic about it because I think there are people online who will fake being interested in stuff just for like endorsements or for popularity. But it should be the case that if you don't like something, maybe don't eat it because then won't be able to give a good review about it. So I think the way that you're doing things is amazing. I love that you're being yourself. I love that you're spreading the word to people who may not have had access to this kind of stuff. And I hope you get to keep doing it because you seem to really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just want to say thank you for coming on the Untold today.
Thank you for having me, actually. I was really looking forward to this because I've never actually been on a podcast or a set type thing. This is all new to me. And
Well, this is new to us as well, so we're happy to share that
oh,
experience to you as well.
Yeah. But we are going to go on a short break. But again, thank you for joining us. And I hope you guys will stay tuned for a bit. And that's all we had for today's episode with Muhammed AlAjmi. And honestly, I had a great time talking to him about food and all the wonderful things it encompasses.
Yeah, honestly, I know in the episode he mentioned one of the favorite restaurants where we had meal, and I gotta say kudos to him because that is an absolutely delicious restaurant.
I actually never tried it.
Yeah.
You guys should go on his Instagram and find out maybe about where this burger place comes from. But
Yeah.
I do think in general, the way he described his process makes sense. He just loves it. So when you love something, I think it's always easier to make a job or a living out of it.
Yeah, and I love how he highlighted how he started making content, just showcasing what Kuwait has to offer. And then he naturally segued into food when he saw that he was really liking that. He really loved food and sharing his, feelings and opinions about food to other people. It's very, for me personally, it's very admirable when I see someone knowing what they want and actually pursuing it.
I agree. I also loved hearing that he's honest about things and is himself whenever he goes and does it. Because it can be hard to leave reviews, I feel, because you are affecting the livelihood of a certain restaurant or place. But he said that no matter what, he always will give his honest opinion. And I think that's what makes him stand out from other people who might want to do this.
Yeah, and very well said, Lujain. Talking about food has made me hungry. I know there are some tikkalumi waiting for me. So with that, I'm gonna wrap today's episode. Until next one, goodbye for now.
Goodbye, see you next time, and enjoy your meal.